2009, and we'll start with a roll call. Councilmember Trost.
Here.
Councilmember O'Laughlin.
Here.
Councilmember Coop.
Here.
And let it be noted that Councilmember Lang and Councilmember Underfirth are not present, but we still have a quorum. Mayor Tim Lease is present, as the city staff. I will start off the meeting with reading a little statement regarding tonight's activities. This meeting is for the purpose of addressing the value and classification of the January 2, 2009 assessment. Taxes and budgets will not be addressed in this meeting. Any comments you have concerning local taxing jurisdictions spending should be made at truth and taxation hearings held in the fall of the year. Budget decisions that affect the following year's property taxes are made at that time. Board action must be taken on all appeals prior to adjournment. If an inspection or any additional research is necessary, the board will schedule a date within the 20-day window to reconvene, at which time information on the properties will be presented at the board for their action. If you haven't signed the local Board of Appeal and Equalization sheet, please do so now, and we will address the properties in order from that sheet. Thank you. Okay. So we will call the public hearing to order, and the first person on the list is Mr. Alan Schmitz, and he is actually represented here by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties. So if Mr. Schmitz would step forward. Are you here? Okay, they're not here. Okay, then we'll move down to Mr. Jeremy Fahey of 520 State Street West. No? Is that-
The consent agenda that the council acknowledges that they received.
Oh, okay.
Will not be present.
Oh.
Read it in writing.
Okay, so where is the list of people that are supposed to speak?
The county assessor will call them on.
Oh, okay. Have at it then. Thanks.
Over to them.
Okay, turn it over to the county assessor.
The council acknowledges this and
Acknowledges the receipt of this.
gives the
Okay.
consent agenda.
Okay, acknowledge, council, we have in front of you a consent agenda template with names of people who are not present this evening. Would you acknowledge that receipt? The receipt of that? We have received that? We don't need a motion?
You want a motion?
Yeah, let's have a motion and a second on that.
So moved.
Can we get a second on that? The receipt of the consent
Second.
agenda? Thank
Second.
you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we'll turn it over to the folks from the county.
First name on the list is Otto Price. Otto Price.
Can I give the council some documents?
Yeah, sure.
Just kind of helps me. I printed out before, so.
Making sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Otto Priest. I own the small liquor store by the name of Little Brown Jug out on Commerce 520, Commerce Drive. Mr. Chaka, the assessor, did not require me to be here, but I would like to give a little bit of input in regards to the taxes and what's been happening in this community. As I handed out, I give you somewhat of a chronology of the values based upon my business between the year 2000 and data given to me at the end of 2008. And if you note at the bottom, we have a certain value, and we have at the top a certain value. If you take one number from the other, and you'll get a roughly a 98% increase in that period of time. If you narrow those years down to from the year 2008 down to 2003, you basically have an increase of 15% per year. Now, if you're familiar with the numbers of 72, if you divide that 72 by 15, you get roughly a doubling of every 5.1 or 5.2 years of the taxes. Normally, I consider paying my taxes as just a little hindrance in doing business. However, in the last 4 years, It's become my number one uncontrolled overhead that I have nothing that I can do to really change it. I can control my electrical use, I can do all other things to become more efficient, but I am now at a point where when my taxes that I pay locally requires almost a debt of $350 to $400 per month to be servicing that, that puts an enormous burden on me. Keep in mind, in those same 4 years, MnDOT and the City Council allowed 30 to 40% of my traffic be taken away. I no longer have access to the south side of 169 to my customers, and the real thorn in the side was the closing of Meridian for easy crossover.
Yes. Mr. Priest, I'm going to interrupt you for a moment here, and while we appreciate what you're going through, and it's not dissimilar to a lot of people that are trying to run businesses in this town, this hearing is for to address the value and classification of your property. And if you would make, I'm going to let you finish this, but if you'd make it quick, because really this isn't what we're about. We're about really, the folks that are behind you are here to talk about their properties too. So if you'd make it brief, then we'll
I
let them
presented
speak.
my chest to dot. I'm
All
finished.
right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your
And the
time.
assessor will appeal my request for
Okay.
reduction.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yep.
Kevin O'Brien.
I'm Kevin O'Brien. You wouldn't hardly recognize me, would you? I got two pieces of property, one on South Street and one on Meridian. And I think the taxes are out of line on both of them. On the South Street, estimated market value is $60,000 on a lot. I don't think there's a lot ever sold in Plaine for $60,000. And I don't know where they came up with that, but they came up the first year that I had it with that price. Taxes of $996 for the year. And I think that's out of line. If at six, I think there's lots in Plaine selling for anywhere from 25,000 to 30,000, and as high as 40,000, but not at 60,000. And I'd like to have you reconsider that. And the other parcel is the 5.9 acres along Meridian Street. It was, I don't know if it was ever zoned or not, but when we've done that last bunch of lots, it was called an outlot, as I recall. And they got that priced at their estimated market value at $226,800, and market value, taxation market value at $197,500. And they got that taxed at $3,278, which I think is ridiculously high. I'd like to have you reconsider it.
I can address that, Council Board. Mr. O'Brien's looking at his 2009 statement. If he looks at his 2010 statement, you'll notice that the value of the particular residential property dropped from $60,000 to $40,000. And 4 or 5 sales last year in the city of Plaine, and they ranged anywhere from $49,000 up on Farmers Bridge, or behind the new elementary school, that was $47,500.
Which paper are you talking about?
Green's copy, or the orange copy, sir.
Well, they got it here at 50,000. They dropped it $10,000. I think it should be down at $40,000.
Can I take a